All right, today we are going to be ranking the 50 state birds in order of least to most gay, in my personal opinion. And you may be thinking to yourself, but Kim, birds aren't real. They're part of a government surveillance program and are simply a cover by the elites to monitor our every move and secretly infringe on our civil liberties. Okay, and they could also be gay. Two things can be true at once. Let's get into it. All right, so I have my tier list here. As you can see, S tier, I've labeled She Already Done Had Herses. And D tier, I have labeled Natty Light Ultra, because that seems like a very straight thing. A, B, and C I've left as is, just for clarity's sake. But let's get into it. Starting alphabetically, we have Alabama. Alabama's state bird is the yellowhammer northern flicker, which is this guy right here. Okay, so this bird, I'm sorry, it's gay as fuck. Gay as fuck. Come on, gay as fuck. This is definitely a butch lesbian, but like a fashionable butch lesbian. Buys Burberry, but it's Burberry menswear. Probably has a Subaru, but maybe also a Mercedes. I don't know. I just think it's gay as fuck. So, S tier. Okay, next we have Alaska. Alaska has the willow ptarmigan, and if you haven't seen that video of the the ptarmigan in the snow making its funny sound, I'm gonna insert it here. But they're so cute. And so they actually look different depending on the time of year. In the warmer months, they have a brown coat, feather. I don't know what you call it on a bird. And then in the winter, they turn white and they get these cute little, like, I don't know, like eyeshadows, I guess. I think they're A tier. I think they're A tier because they seem sort of like a shy gay, but in the wintertime, they come out like full camp. I think this ptarmigan moonlights as a drag queen, but is otherwise sort of ambiguous on the gay scale. So we're gonna plop this ptarmigan right there. Right, next we have Arizona. Tucson, Arizona.
You talk all fancy and Europe-like.
This is the way we talk in Tucson, Arizona.
Arizona state bird is the cactus wren. I think this is C tier. C tier. I think they're mostly straight, but they definitely experimented in college, so not gonna put it in the natty light section. C tier. All right, we're moving on to Arkansas, but I want to preface this by saying Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi, Texas, and Tennessee all have the same state bird, and there's a couple of these incidences in this chart. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to go through 50 of them because they're the same bird for a lot of states. You know what? I'm going to put this bird at B tier because I think it's a depressed bisexual, and I think it belongs in the middle. Next, we have the California quail. Okay, I kind of think the quail is like ace non-binary, and I don't really know where to put it on the tier list, but I like its little decorative feather, so based on that, I'm gonna put it on S tier. Colorado has the lark bunting. I think the male larks are definitely, well, okay, I think both male and female are bisexual, but like different types of bisexual. Like I think the male larks are definitely goth scene bisexuals. They 100% go to Fall Out Boy concerts and like Green Day and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the female larks are also bisexual, but they're cottagecore bisexual. And they date each other, but they also kind of hate each other. I don't know. It's just a vibe. I'm going to go ahead and put this lark bunting at B tier. All right, next we have Connecticut. Connecticut has the American robin. Connecticut, Wisconsin, and Michigan all share the American robin as their state bird. D tier, okay? D tier. This is straight. Basic as fuck. Get a better bird. Next. Next, we have Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C.'s bird, even though it's technically not a state, is a wood thrush. A tier. This is a theater twink. End of discussion. Next up is the Delaware blue hen. Ooh. Very pretty, very sweet, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what your personal preference is, straight. Republican, evangelical, mother of six, hates the gays, but secretly watches Drag Race. D tier. Okay, Georgia. Georgia is the brown thrasher. I think Georgia's state bird is a perpetually anxious gay, still in the closet, but like most people can kind of tell. B tier. All right, next up we have the state of Hawaii, my home state. The Hawaiian state bird is the nene goose, which is a type of Canadian goose, but it's kind of small compared to other Canadian geese. It's its own special type of goose. I think the nene goose is pansexual and polyamorous. That might be contradictory to everything scientific that we know about them and their mating and breeding patterns, but I think if they were a person, they would be pansexual and polyamorous. And for that reason, I'm going to put them at A tier. Next, we have Idaho. Idaho has the mountain bluebird. The mountain bluebird is also the state bird of Nevada, so we're doing Idaho and Nevada in one go. 100% ultimate gay. I mean, just look at him. Has lots of pride decor in their house, year-round, owns 2 designer dogs and an aggressive cat, and lives with their partner in a renovated 1930s bungalow. S tier all the way. Next up, we have the northern cardinal. Gay. I mean, come on. S tier. The northern cardinal happens to be the state bird for Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia. So if you live in one of those states, I hate to break it to you, but your state bird is gay as shit. All right, next we have the eastern goldfinch, also known as the American goldfinch. This is the state bird of Iowa and New Jersey. This bird is definitely a scary lesbian. Carries a pocket knife and wears sports bras exclusively. Will hurt you if provoked. A tier. Next up is Louisiana. Louisiana state bird is the brown pelican. He's an old gay, okay? He has lots of stories from the 70s. He definitely did a lot of acid in his youth, but now he lives a quiet life with his partner of many years in a seaside vista. S tier. Next up, Maine. Maine state bird is the chickadee. I think the chickadee is definitely like B or C tier. They dated a girl briefly in college while getting their poli-sci degree, but ended up marrying a man in finance. I think for the finance thing, I'm gonna have to bump them down to a C. Okay, we have the Baltimore Oriole, which is the state bird of Maryland. This bird is straight with a capital S. This bird looks like a sports car, and I'm convinced that the only target audience for sports cars are insecure hetero men. So, naturally, it's going in the Natty Light section. D tier. Next, we have Massachusetts, and I have a little bit of a caveat here because Massachusetts is the black-capped chickadee, specifically, which to me looks exactly like the other chickadee. Like, I can't tell the difference. I'm going to keep it as a separate bird. They may very well be the same bird. I don't know. I'm not an ornithologist. I think that's the word. Whatever the bird scientist is, I'm not that. Anyway, the black-capped chickadee, I don't know. This one just seems more gay. So, A tier. Okay, now we have Minnesota, and Minnesota's state bird is the common loon. Fashion gay. Lives in New York, is mean, will only look you in the eye if you're wearing vintage Prada. S tier. We have the eastern bluebird, which is the state bird for Missouri and also New York. I'm gonna say they're straight, but I'm also gonna say they're allies. So let's put them at C tier. New Hampshire. New Hampshire state bird is the purple finch. Bisexual. Ramona Flowers vibes will break your heart, but they're so hot that you forgive them. A tier. New Mexico has the greater roadrunner. It's your gay uncle. He's cool, but there's something not quite right about him. You don't know how he makes money, but he's always on vacation. B tier. Next up is Oklahoma. The state bird for Oklahoma is the scissor-tailed flycatcher. Femme lesbian, the name says it all. S tier. Okay, next we have the western meadowlark. This bird is the state bird for Oregon, Wyoming, North Dakota, Nebraska, Montana, and Kansas. I think we need to have a serious talk in this country about the severe lack of diversity in state birds, because there's no way that one bird can be the state bird for all these different states. Anyway, gay, but everyone thinks they're straight and is shocked to discover that they're not. So, I don't know, maybe like B tier? Okay, now we have Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's state bird is the ruffed grouse. Not gay. D tier. Next. Rhode Island. Rhode Island's state bird is the Rhode Island red, which is a very fancy chicken. A little gay. It's sort of a situational thing. C tier. South Carolina has the Carolina wren. Pansexual, 100%. Don't ask me why, just a vibe. A tier. Next. South Dakota. South Dakota's state bird is the ringed-necked pheasant. S tier, that's a drag queen, no further discussion. Here's a fun one. Utah's state bird is the California gull. I think they're straight, but I also think that they're swingers and kind of open to whatever in the moment. So let's put them at B tier. All right, Vermont. Vermont's state bird is a hermit thrush. Gay, but not out of the closet. B tier. Washington State. Washington state bird is the willow goldfinch. Aggressively queer. Makes art in an abandoned warehouse and shops exclusively at Trader Joe's. S tier. I have two birds left at the bottom. I think these are duplicate images. We're gonna ignore them. Okay, well, that concludes this video of me ranking which state birds I think are least to most gay. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up or subscribe or do any of the YouTuber things that YouTubers ask you to do when you watch their YouTube videos, or don't. Either way, it's up to you. Live your own life. Okay, bye.